Teaching is a science, a set of skills and practices that become second nature to master teachers. But there's no denying that the most effective teachers also have mastered the art of creating positive relationships with students. As anyone who has ever worked with kids knows, it's not always easy to develop relationships. Some students come to us believing that all adults are out to get them. And for some students, the reality is that they have weathered a host of negative interactions with adults, resulting in a difficulty in making connections with others.
I think some teachers who are still, or adults, all adults, who are just of the mindset like, I'm the adult, you automatically have to give me respect just because I'm an adult. Well, we've had a lot of students that have had adults in their lives let them down. So for a lot of our kids today, they don't automatically give that. It has to be earned from them.
Because positive teacher-student relationships are powerful predictors for student success, it is worth considering 3 general ways in which teachers can promote positive relationships, even with the most challenging students. You'll get a chance to see videos and consider your own strategies related to school culture, school-wide relationship strategies, and more intensive strategies for more challenging students.
Good to see you, Brian. What's up, Jacoby? Hey, Jen, Cameron, Mohammed, what up?
Research clearly shows that the degree to which your students believe you genuinely care about them is a major predictor for their overall school success. In light of the fact, we might consider building positive relationships with students, not as an additional chore, but as an inherent part of what it means to be an effective teacher.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Morning, kiddos. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
I'll be honest with you, I teach world civilization. My kids could care less about these old white guys. No offense to nobody. But it's because I have a relationship with my students that if I assign them something, they know that Mr. Williams ain't just going to assign something just to be assigning it. There's a reason that he's assigning it. So my kids are going to do it simply because of a relationship. Because honestly, I'm teaching Renaissance. Do they really need to know something about the Renaissance? Me as an educator could tell them something, but they could get 2 bleeps about the Renaissance, right? So, but it's because I have that relationship with the students.
The culture of your school refers to the set of values that are shared and exhibited by all people, adults and students. Schools that commit to improving relationships as part of the school culture have open discussions and clear plans for improving relationships across the entire school. Often this effort is done as part of a school-wide effort, such as PBIS. Using this framework, the teachers and staff consider specific actions for increasing positive relationships, then commit to implementation over a period of time with data collected to monitor the effect. As a general rule, if relationships do not improve, the adults will have to be the ones to change their behavior to make it work. Simply waiting for the student to improve relationships is a very poor bet.
You say we do this, we do this. So adult behavior should follow student behavior.
Yes.
Is that what I hear you say?
Yes.
Because I see we teach a lot of times the kids how to be respectful, and yet the teachers aren't being respectful, or when they're picking kids up from the bus. So do I hear that you guys would like to also include something that says when we're teaching students expectations, that adults have those same expectations?
That we have to check ourselves. And I say that because I always see teachers just talking over students and not really listening. And even as adults, you were saying something, then I'm going to say something, but I'm not listening to you. I just want to say what I need to say. And I think that's where we get so confused, just because we're adults. And as you said, we still have to earn that from them. And I think that's a really big part of what we do.
How do you think the kids in your school feel about the adults? Do you think they really believe that adults care about their success or well-being? Take some time to discuss with your team. How would you describe the culture of your school from a student's perspective? Do you think they would consider it to be caring and positive? Think about what the adults in your school do to enhance your school culture and whether efforts are underway to develop continuous improvement. culture of the school is built upon the behaviors of the teachers, who serve as models for our shared values. Each adult must take responsibility for enhancing relationships with the students that they come in contact with on a daily basis.
You have to know them more than just pen to paper. You have to know about their outside life, because they're only going to let you in if you really know, if you see them. And if you don't see, I have you here, I can dominate over you and make you sit in that chair, but you will never give me your heart, you will never give me your all. Even if it's hard for you academically, you will never give me your best if I don't see you completely.
Because students often lack maturity to maintain an effective relationship with adults, it falls on to the teachers to provide models for positive and appropriate relationships. Experienced teachers report using a wide variety of simple strategies to enhance relationships with students.
So you open up yourself, you just open up in different ways. So different things of, the kids love shoes. I might come in on a Friday, hey, well, you know what? I got the same shoes you do. No, what Friday I'm gonna wear them? We'll see, but we're opening ourselves up. And once we do that, kids, they start to gravitate towards you. So, like in my classroom, I really don't have desks because I have small kids. So we have chairs, and we lay back, and they might sit in my chair, and we'll be speaking and we're talking. But as long as I know you might have your feet up, spinning around in the chair, let it be known I'm gonna call on you. So while you're spinning around in the chair, while you're getting dizzy, I need that information.
But I think the issues come from us. They come in and we instantly say, this is what I want you to do. Instead of, hey, how are you? How was your day? How was your night? Oh, did you watch the game? Trying to make that connection, because we're so focused on what we have to do as teachers. We have to get this done, and this done. Whereas we are not letting these children be children. And we're not opening up that caveat of, hey, you know what? I like you as a person. Forget that you're my student. You're a good kid. And I think that's why I'm so focused on in my career of teaching, where I have to make that relationship. I have to make sure that you know what, Miss Broughton likes something about you. I don't care what it is, but I like that you wore red today. And that makes them feel like, hey, she knows me. Yeah.
So certain things I do, I know because kids in transition, it's just for me. I know after lunch, I don't go right into instruction. I let them have 5-6 minutes to themselves, and then we'll pull the instruction. And then for certain things that they do, I found myself, I need to just start laughing and stop being so angry with it. So once I started to laugh, my day's been going great. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Fine, you did that. I don't do it again, but it was fun.
Being at the door saying, hey man, did you watch that game the other night? Because you saw him running down the hallway, running back down the hallway, jumping up and down, smacking the banners up. Hey man, hey dude, did you watch that game the other night? Calming him down, getting that relation, talking to him, de-escalating before he walks in the classroom, so that but you have to know your students to do that. You have to have a relationship with the students in order for that to happen. So you gotta show your kids, that you're just not in it for the check. You're just not in it coming in for, you sitting there for 7:30 to 2:20, and at 2:20 they gotta know that you really are there for them.
One simple strategy is simply to take advantage of non-instructional times to engage students with their own interests. For example, meeting students at the door or catching them as they walk by.
Hey Juan, did you watch that show last night? You know the one I'm talking about. Did you watch it? Did you like it? Crazy, right? All right, very cool.
Hi guys, thanks for being on time today.
Thank you for being on time.
Yeah, that was good for both of us today, thanks. Oh, that's a good picture in Photoshop. Keep working. You need to add a little more color over here, just a little bit more to make it a little more enticing.
Y'all, I'm so sorry I'm late. I dropped my phone in the toilet again, but thank you for being here. Thank you. Harry, come on in, let's go on in. All right, Jimmy. Hi, Liliana, Jadlyn. Good to see you, Dan, Moran, Christine. Perfect.
What strategies do you typically use to engage students in a positive manner and build relationships? Discuss within your group and come up with a list of strategies that work best with the students you see on a daily basis. all likelihood, the minute we start talking about relationships, you begin thinking of that one student who you tangle with the most. With these kids, it's hard to think about a strategy for being positive. They often seem to initiate negative interactions right from the start. And this is something we all find challenging. However, there are some strategies that improve your chance with these students. One helpful strategy is to consider the background of many of these students. Very likely, their demeanor is a function, not trusting adults. This is a key to why we must take the responsibility to build a relationship where none exists. Simply expecting students to be respectful will not pay off with the most challenging students. We must show respect to get respect.
If there's a lack of genuine, authentic relationship there, then to me that's a predictor of disrespect is likely to occur. Most kids are going to give teachers and their classmates the benefit of the doubt, and give them a chance to build a relationship with them. But if that never happens, then I think kids are going to be more prone to be disrespectful in that room and with that teacher.
Building relationships with the challenging students takes a great deal of patience. Positive relationships are built over time, and trust is gained by consistent attention. This is different from what we do with all students, only in that it is more purposeful and individualized. Take a look at the following examples of teachers dealing with students that are distant, surly, and disengaged with adults. Notice that across all examples, teachers are patient, speak quietly, and always communicate with a primary concern for the student.
I see how hard you guys are working on the assignment. I'm really proud of you guys. This is a lot like when we investigated the crime scene, which is like detective work. And you two are interested in being detectives. Something to consider.
Note that this is not the end of the teacher's attempts, and they did not overdo it. Just created a pleasant exchange and then moved on. Building positive relationships is a long-term game, played a little each day over time.
Hey Maya, what's going on? What's wrong?
Bruh, Miss G, can you please leave me alone? I'm not in the mood.
Look, we all have bad days. There's some days I don't want to be here. I just want to sit on my couch. But just know, if you need anything, I'm here for you.
Well, you ain't me.
But if you want to come by my office and talk anytime, I'm here. Anything that you need, okay?
Note that the student's agitation and surly demeanor did not distract from the teacher's focus on her well-being. Again, this was not the end of the teacher's attempts to be positive with the student, but a single instance and a purposeful effort to be consistently positive with a challenging student.
I have to model when I'm stressed out what you're supposed to do. When I'm stressed out, sometimes you need to take a breather. So if you're stressed out, instead of cussing me out, why don't you say, hey, Mr. Rowlett, I need a breather. I'm like, okay, cool. Go sit at your desk for a second, put your head down for a minute or two or whatever you have to do to get yourself together. But just know that when you get done, we're gonna talk about this. They may need a second to collect their thoughts as well. And if the teacher is self-aware of themselves, I know when I'm not in a good mood, and I know when the kid's getting on my nerves, why am I gonna jump into that and try to have the conversation right now? It's not gonna be productive. So sometimes you have to take a step back and say, hey, look, I'd appreciate if you didn't do that right now. I just need a minute to get myself together. We're going to come back to this, later on. We're going to revisit this. So that way it's still restorative. Both of you have the time to collect your thoughts, get yourself together, and then hopefully you can have a more productive conversation versus both of y'all are on edge and you're coming at each other and you start butting heads.
As a final thought, consider that this does not always need to be done one-on-one. Positive relationships can be generated as a part of your interactions with groups too.
Okay, so being present, actually being here. Okay, what else does being present look like? Paying attention. So I would say staying focused. Good. Anybody else for anything about being present? Okay. You have another one about being present? Sure. Making sure you're here on time, kind of what you were saying, Peyton. Okay, great. That's all great things. What about, there's another one that's really important to me that we've discussed. keeping it safe. So what does that mean? What does keeping it safe mean? Anybody know? Baby? What was that? No running around? Okay, good. I like that. What else when we do our circles, when I say keeping it safe? Yes, Lilia. Same thing? Okay, keep your hands to your feet to yourself. What about, Peyton, you had another one about keeping it safe?
Be explicit to reach or touch or talk. Use every student, because sometimes we spend a lot of time with a problem student, and many times we spend time with our great student, that there's some students that might fall between the cracks. And that kid that falls between the cracks might eventually become that disruptive student. So to make sure to reach everyone across the board, explicit, like make it a point that will give a caring culture, a culture of the classroom, that everyone has a voice, everyone has a say, from the kid that has 100A to the one who I've kicked out 2 times this week. But at least we're all in this, and we're all trying to, get to the same goal.
Edgar, I know you were worried about the evidence, but you found it, you did a great job. You made an A on the paper.
What I want you to think about is, do you think he was a hero, which is a great guy who did cool things, or a villain who's not such a great guy who didn't do such cool things? Or do you think in history he was just a guy trying to make some money? So we talked about him being in charge of a voyage of discovery, right? But what was he really going after on the map? Where did he want to go? Do you remember?
Consider some challenging students with whom you regularly interact. What are some possible ways that you might be able to find opportunities to begin creating a consistently positive relationship? Be sure to consider how you'd have to change up what you do now to make it work. Come to the next meeting with your own thoughts on your own positive engagement with students, and be prepared to discuss.